Hi, my name is Haley Wood, and I'm going to walk you through some of the details of my e-portfolio. So first up, I have a video where I list my personal and professional goals. Some of my personal goals that I listed were to become more involved in my communities and just continue to learn and grow as an individual. My professional goals, first, I wanted to obtain a master's degree. I decided to get this in educational administration because then I thought down the road it would open up more opportunities if I decided to take a leadership position. And I decided to get my complete this program through Fort Hays just because of the accessibility of it being online. Living in the rural community that I do, this was the easiest way for me to obtain this degree. Next up, I have my leadership philosophy. So I'm kind of a very believe in democratic leadership. And so some of the words that I kind of highlight in my leadership philosophy are communication, collaboration, commitment, and goal setting. I really believe in teams working together so you can get various ideas, and I feel like that is the most beneficial way for a team to operate. Next, I have my plan of study where I mention when I took the classes. I started a few summers ago and completed my degree while I was teaching full time, and then I had my first child in there, so kind of took a little time off. Next, I have my resume. I highlight some of my education and experiences that I have gained as a teacher. I also list some of the skills that I've developed while working in those positions. And then I have my artifact folder. So in the artifact folder, I have different resources that I will mention when I get to my activities. So here's where you can kind of find all of the documents. And then next up, I have the activities. So in the activities, the main part of this portfolio that was completed. First up, here's the activity form. This was really helpful in kind of just organizing, figuring out which standards to go with, and kind of just keeping track of all of the information. And then I can come down here to the various activities. So the district activities, when I was working on my degree, I actually switched schools that I was part of. So getting to a new school was a little difficult to kind of be part of these leadership opportunities, being a first year teacher at this school. But I was able to become part of the district leadership team. And this opened up a lot of opportunities for me to gain roles in leadership positions. So first we kind of KISA as a big part of what we've been working on. Not as much this past year because COVID kind of took over a lot, but we were able to have some updates and discussions with this, kind of where we were at with the evaluation process. And then also through KISA, we kind of had a social emotional project that I was able to be part of. And then of course COVID. We were able to kind of learn the safety operations plan. We met last summer before school started. Our district leadership team did to kind of come up with a reopening plan for our district and different protocols that we were going to be part of. So I gained a lot of hours just working because of COVID. So then a textbook rotation schedule, curriculum discussion. This was really beneficial because it's not a major part, but it is definitely a part of something a principal needs to work on. So kind of working on that textbook rotation schedule was beneficial kind of to learn more about the curriculum. Excuse me. And then I was also, because of COVID, kind of our school got a lot of different various technology. So part of that we got Mimios. So I was kind of able to practice and learn with mine a little bit. And then I gave a presentation to our staff, kind of sharing some of the highlights that I had learned about. Next, I'll share some of my elementary and secondary hours that I received. I am an elementary teacher, so a lot of my focus was on the elementary section, and that's kind of where, as an administrator, the category I would like to be in. So that's where I did a lot of it. I kind of picked a lot of different components to cover instead of just doing the 10 required. So I kind of have smaller time spent, but a lot of various activities, which I felt was very beneficial kind of in covering a larger range of things. I was able to have a discussion with our administration about kind of our mission statement, kind of talking about how it was only found in the student planners and kind of things that we could do in the future. I was able to have a student intern. With having that, I was able to kind of complete evaluations, which would be very beneficial as a principal, kind of completing the evaluations of the teachers. Kind of learning more about cultural diversity was very beneficial, and kind of how that relates to the students in my school. Part of my district leadership team, I was able to be a leader of one of our KISA groups, and so I was part of the arts and cultural appreciation group. So we were kind of able to have a discussion about things our school is currently doing and things that we need to improve on. Analyzing our Ames web data is something as a classroom teacher I had already done a lot, but kind of digging deeper into that discussion is something that was very beneficial to me. And as a principal, I think that is important for me to do and encourage my teachers to do and be part of leading that discussion. So that was very beneficial kind of to begin that discussion. I was also able to, we were discussing kind of new curriculum changes, so we were able to have math curriculum discussions. The Mimeo presentation that I gave to my staff, I was also able to give to our school board. We kind of just wanted to show what we were doing with the technology that was purchased with some of our money we received because of COVID. So kind of showing our school board how I use this in my classroom. And then kind of scheduling, that's a big part of what a principal does before the school year begins. And so being part of that was kind of very beneficial. And even in a small school, there's a lot of different things to juggle and components that have to be considered to do that. So that was kind of helpful in working with. Kind of learning more about the special education discipline process was very helpful. When I was in college, I kind of got a specialization in special education, but I feel like as a general classroom teacher, there's always more that I can learn about to help me as a teacher. And also I feel that way as an administrator. In order to help all the students out, knowing more is just very helpful. I was able to be part of some interviews for openings that we had, sitting in the interviews, and then also kind of just having a discussion with my principal about some of the different applicants' pros and cons of how they would help our school. Part of the DLT, being part of the district leadership team, we met monthly, and so various topics we discussed. That was one of the activities I completed for the elementary. I was also able to have a student intern, aside from the one before. With this one, I was able to observe his lessons and just kind of share some ideas, and once again, very beneficial in what I would do as a principal. Next up, I have my secondary activities. So I was able to work with our high school principal kind of to achieve some of these activities. So something that I did, I created a digital citizenship poster, kind of something that the teachers could display in classrooms of how the students need to, how to use their technology. And especially with COVID kind of going one-to-one more so, even more beneficial to have. A few other ones I want to highlight is having the opportunity to work with the high school and junior high science teachers about our science curriculum. When I first started my position as a 5th and 6th grade math and science teacher at Maxville, it doesn't sound like there was a very much cohesion between the elementary and the junior high as far as with the science curriculum and the standards. So I was able to sit down with those teachers and look at how we wanted to map it out, so that way all of the standards were being covered. So this is something as a principal I would help organize and be part of. So this was very beneficial kind of to seeing how that could work. I was able to complete the activity to learn more about my community, and especially being a new teacher, this was very beneficial kind of just to learn about where I was. Here's another one, a communication meeting. I was able to discuss with the principal the communication that our district uses, and then also I'm a coach, and so we discussed using the Team Reach app. This is something that is encouraged in our district for all of the coaches to use. Just kind of, we talked about the different measures that are taken to not only help protect the coaches and teachers, but also that communication with the students and players. And then I was also able to complete some teacher walkthroughs. This was very helpful because the principal shared with me the Google form that he uses, and so I kind of practiced completing some of these walkthroughs. And it was also helpful just to kind of see these junior high and high school teachers teaching. As an elementary teacher, it's often doesn't happen that we get to see this, but it's very helpful, especially since my 6th graders go up to the junior high. So kind of seeing some of their practices while also getting experience of doing the evaluations was very helpful. Next, I will show you my administrative verification. So since I am in a small school district, our elementary principal is also the superintendent. So he completed my categories for district and elementary since he fills both of those roles. And then I also have a verification from the high school principal here. Next, my annotated bibliography. This is definitely what took the most time for me to complete. However, it was also the most beneficial. Completing the 33, finding the articles and kind of summarizing them was a lot harder than I thought it would be. However, so beneficial. Kind of just finding what was helpful to me right now in my position, but also thinking about how that relates to my future as an administrator. Not only after summarizing them, I was also able to assess them and reflect on them, kind of thinking of how it looks, make it more applicable to myself. And then the last thing I have is my reflection. So like I stated before, when I started this degree, I just wanted a master's. And educational administration would open up more opportunities. I thought maybe 15 years down the road, I would become a principal. I didn't think it would be anywhere near my future. But once I completed this program, kind of getting more leadership opportunities through my school, I decided it could be a lot closer in my future than I thought it would be. Living in the community I do, with my husband being a farmer, I'm not really going to move that far to a larger school, but there are a lot of schools around, and so if a position opened, I really do see myself becoming a principal a lot sooner than I thought I would. So kind of here I just reflect on the program itself, and then I kind of list some of the, I list the courses taken, kind of some activities that stood out in those courses, and then kind of as if my future as a leader, how it would look. Some of the classes that I really found helpful taking this throughout this program were the school law and the special education course. As I stated before, I don't think you can ever know enough about special education, because knowing that not only helps the special education students, but also just kind of how I can help all of my students. And as a principal, I need to be part of all of that. And so I think just becoming more aware of that is very, very helpful. So those are kind of some of the main components that I have throughout my e-portfolio. There's also a few other things, going in detail of my activities, a few that I didn't mention. So thank you.